Hi there, everyone. It is currently the 28th of September 2013, and well, today we are going to continue to watch our severe tropical storm Wutip or Paolo, and really in the near future, this looks like it's going to become our next named typhoon. I know JTWD upgraded Pabuk actually to a typhoon, but JMA never really did, so technically this would be our fourth named typhoon of 2013 if it does get upgraded here. It pushes off there towards Vietnam, so definitely watching the problem with that, but also it's still exasperating the situation going on here across the Philippines as far as the enhanced monsoon or the Habagat with Paolo here. Actually, just take a look at the NDRMC, the casualty toll, not just from this storm, but due to the enhancement of the monsoon when Usagi pushed off there towards the north. Then you had Pabuk right in the heels of that, not to mention this storm forming up now, and it does look like there's a possibility of another tropical cyclone forming up in the Philippine Sea maybe next week, but 31 deaths have been reported at this time, 8 injuries, 2 people are missing. We can scroll up here, nearly 588,000 or over 588,000 people have been affected here by these monsoonal rains. This is from the official agencies, so these numbers may be not the most updated, but definitely, I mean, 11 landslides, 2 storm surge events, 3 flash floods, 1 tornado reported. Yeah, it's a lot of intense weather going on, and nothing directly related to any tropical system, but more or less indirectly related with our tropical cyclones out here. That moisture inflow hitting the coastlines and just causing that severe flooding. Actually, we'll just take a look at the past 7 days of rainfall here in portions of Manila and surrounding provinces. You really have seen some of the heaviest. In these areas, actually, in the darker colors of red over here, indicating upwards about 300 to 400 millimeters, which has fallen. And I've seen some isolated reports, especially north of Manila, here in Subic, where you saw that one very deadly landslide, upwards about 550 millimeters of rainfall in just the past 7 days alone. So this is from the TRIM estimated satellite imagery. So this may not be perfectly exact, but a very good estimate of what has been happening out here. And it's not just the Philippines. Thailand as well has saw deaths here reported just due to the extremely heavy rain enhanced by the monsoon, which is feeding all the way from the west out of the Indian Ocean and pushing on shore. And some of these rivers upstream, really the dams having to be released and flowing downstream towards Bangkok and causing flooding in itself with that. So very intense situation. And well, our latest storm system not helping the scenario at all. Now you can see here on the visible satellite imagery, actually, it looks like a little eye trying to form up near the center of circulation. So I would not be surprised if this is upgraded to a typhoon here in the near future. So outside of enhancing the monsoon, having wide-reaching effects all the way from Thailand over towards the Philippines, where's the worst of this weather going? Well, as far as model guidance, actually pretty directly towards the west. Pretty much a big agreement here. North of Da Nang, making a landfall here as we go ahead into Monday. This is actually just taking a look at the ECMWF model. Pretty high resolution model, and with at least the last 2 storms, it hasn't done too bad of a job earlier on in the season. This model was just not useful at all. But once a storm starts to develop, it actually is fairly accurate in predicting the intensity. So we got to that point here with Paolo or Wutip, and right now it does look like it's going to be tracking south of Hainan. This is just the winds, and in these areas in the darker purples, that's showing right around typhoon strength winds, a fairly developed eye here by Monday around noontime. And I said Monday landfall, actually more like Monday night into Tuesday. But you can see it moving right along the coastline here. You have Da Nang down here farther towards the south, Hanoi way off there towards the north. And really, just take a look at this landfall, possibly into the evening hours by the overnight hours, as a fairly strong typhoon. So there's a risk of storm surge, especially along the northern periphery of this storm system. Wherever it does make landfall, you really still want to look at the northern periphery for the worst risk of storm surge. That is where the winds are going to be coming on shore, along with the forward momentum of the storm, kind of pushing it like a wall of water right onto the coastlines here. So 3 to 4 meter high storm surge definitely not out of the question. Could be even higher than that. Not to mention these waves very well likely up to about 8 to 9 meters high. And then furthermore, we're talking about the rainfall with this storm system. Take a look at the MSL. which it just shows that precipitation, and it's really going to be accumulating up along the eastern periphery of this mountain chain, which runs and along the western portions of Vietnam, and really separates Vietnam from Laos. If you're out here, you know exactly what I'm talking about. With that moisture hitting these mountains, that's going to squeeze it out, and that's where the highest risk of flooding and landslides are going to be with the storm system. So definitely something to watch here through the coming days. I know the Vietnam Meteorological Agency has put out severe tropical storm warnings. I would not be surprised if they upgrade that to typhoon warnings here going through the next 24 hours as our storm pushes closer to the coastline. Now, right now, almost stationary, and it looks like it's really just moving a slow mover, and that's why we really were first anticipating a landfall sometime Monday morning, and now it looks more like Tuesday morning. And if it even slows down more, it could be a little bit slower than that. Then it could be even extended to about Tuesday afternoon. But right now, it looks like Monday night into Tuesday morning, the worst of the weather here. But we definitely want to continue to watch out for it. JMA does expect this to become a typhoon here, going through the 29th by the evening hour, 65 knots, peaking out at just south of Hainan. JTWC on a 1-minute wind scale, on the other hand, yeah, they still have the intensity much higher. As of making this update, 60 up to about 75 knots. Now, by the time you watch this update, after I upload it, and if you're watching in here by Saturday night or even in the Sunday morning, very well this could be at typhoon intensity. So that's the forecast with it, really just pushing on shore, and they have it making landfall just north of Hue, Vietnam here. And I've been all along this coastline, and definitely the mountains very farther inland are high at risk, but a lot of these low-lying areas right near the coast, especially in that right front quadrant, yeah, you want to watch out for this. There is that very severe risk. So we want to continue to keep an eye on it. That is all on this storm system right now. We'll pull back the picture. I'll just give you a quick glance at what else is going on out here across the Western Pacific. Because right now, actually, the tropics in this area show a lot of instability, and there's the possibility of something flaring up out here. I mean, a lot of the model outlooks are showing different types of scenarios of something happening. One shows something coming off towards Japan. Another one shows another thing looping back towards Taiwan. So we want to watch next week because it could get quite interesting in this area. I'll compare up just two of the models really quick. Now, first, this is from the GFS outlook here at 00Z, and what we can see is our storm system moving off there towards the coastline. Wutip here, still enhancing that monsoon everywhere, but look at another low pressure area forming there in the Philippine Sea, possibly pulling off towards the north, towards Japan, and just skirting the coastline and moving away. Right now, we do have a baroclinic low forming out of northeastern China, and that should carry it off. But, yeah, that's still long range. I mean, this is out to Wednesday into Thursday, so that exact timeline really could differentiate a lot. One key thing is that even with this forming, it's still pulling that moisture across the Philippines. My goodness. Let's compare this with the NavGem. At the same time, the same model run, we have our storm system moving on shore. That's key. I mean, that's the same at least. And then we have a system developing there in the Philippine Sea. But look at that. It stops and it starts to pull back towards the west. Really doesn't get picked up by the upper level trough farther towards the north. And look at that monsoonal enhancement. And then we have another thing forming out towards the northeast of Guam. So, yeah, it's a hot mess at this time. It's late September going into early October. We're not only dealing with the tropics now and the West Pac High, but we're also dealing with these mid-latitude troughs coming through. It's starting to get into the fall to the autumn season. If you're out here in Korea, Japan, you know what I'm talking about. The temperatures have cooled off. So, yeah, that could either mean these storms are going to get picked up and go towards the north, or they'll stay farther down towards the south. And the ingredients are still there for tropical cyclone development. So with that said, if you have any questions or you want to keep updated, just feel free to ask on our Facebook and Twitter at Westpac Weather. Thanks for listening to me all the way through. I know my throat sounds absolutely horrible. Actually, I was supposed to be on NHK World on Friday, but I took the day off trying to rest this up, and this is all I'm going to do with this because I want to continue to rest up my voice. So, yeah, stay safe out there, everybody, and thanks for watching.